corruption, politics, integrity, deceit, the media. I'm John Spade. This is The Egg for Tuesday, October the 12th, 2010. And man, I am opening up a can of whoop ass. So I wanted to be really careful before I did this egg. I've been kind of under the weather the last few days. And I was also working on another job. So, I wanted to make sure before I dived into this that I covered my bases and that everything I'm going to be talking about today is factual. I'm also going to have links up so that you can see the trail, because there's a trail. They're not even trying to hide it. It's beautiful. And man, it stinks. And what you're going to find amazing, and by the time I'm done this, you're going to be, maybe your jaw's, maybe you're not going to care at all. Maybe it's going to be like, well, hey, that's politics and people make money in politics. That's politicians. They're crooked by nature. That's why they're politicians. For my viewers who aren't in Calgary and don't follow our politics, I apologize for the segment. But you know what? It's probably happening in your city anyways. And this is good stuff. This is a stuff that can only be dreamed up in Hollywood. You're thinking, wow, this is, it's happening in our backyard. So here's where we're going to go. I got a lot of information to get through. I want to make sure that I'm as accurate as I possibly can, and so that there's no conjecture here. And it's started to cover my ass as well, right? Because we're now going into, this is something, there should be an investigation on a level like RCMP getting involved to say, hey man, there's wrongdoing here. So, Dave Roncogne, the mayor who's on his way out, he doesn't need to run for another term because he's so wealthy now, he's going to be able to call his own shots. Apparently, he's even set things up in City Hall so that he'll be around in the background making sure future deals are going through. He's got some stuff set up. Now, I have two confidants inside City Hall. They contacted me. This is the thing I love about the internet. I'm posting my eggs. They didn't really know about that, but I also, the Calgary Herald, their online paper, you have the ability to respond to stories and articles, and there's message boards going there, and now people are starting to connect and talk. And through that, I was able to get a few people who work inside to sort of come forward and say, hey, you know what? You're on the right track. We have information. We'll kind of back up what you're saying. One of them, he has to wait. He's got some legal hurdles. He's kind of got a gag order, so he has to be very careful about how he treads. So I'm getting a trickle of information, but there's a good chance at some point I'm going to have some really hardcore evidence that's going to break this wide open. This is stuff that apparently the Calgary Herald doesn't really want to touch. It's understandable because there's relationships all across the board. People that have money, the media, advertising dollars, it's all connected. So nobody wants to ruffle anybody's feathers. I don't have any of those connections, and my only thing is I want the truth to get out. So David Roncogne has an existing 20-year relationship with a gentleman by the name of Peter Leviditis. And he's with Lacaille Group Inc. here in Calgary. He's a wealthy land developer. So, we have this property deal going on right now downtown. It's blowing wide open. I don't think they can really stem the flow of information now. It's kind of out there. There's a lot of deniability going on, and people saying that they didn't know. Our city hall, their whole board, everybody that's sitting on city council is going, oh, I didn't know this is going on. So we have basically what happened was there's a property down there that was promised to Lacaille. In return, they were going to build a low housing development in the downtown core that ended up costing us, the taxpayer, $28 million. It's not low-income housing. Now, the building where there was actually low-income people living got the boot. They got moved into this other place, which, from what I understand, I'm still doing digging. They can't afford to live there, and it's a high-end place. The other building is going to get torn down, and high-end condominiums are going up. So nothing like what was projected that was going to happen, where it was going to be low-income housing, there's going to be a fire hall, an ambulance hall. This is all gone. It's the backroom deals. So here's a property that Lacaille is about to purchase based on a deal that was made 8 years ago for $4.5 million. The latest appraisal on this property is about $12 million. Not only that, but our city in the agreement has agreed to do the demolition on this building. We're not sure what that's going to cost. This is all, so Lacaille does their master plan, which is to get wealthier. Dave Bronconnier and Peter Levitovitz have been friends for 20 years. And Dave's quite candidly saying, hey, there's nothing going on here. We're just friends, but I don't have anything to do with this. This is, it's business. And he's a great businessman. So we've got all these jobs that are being put out there, not for tender. They're not being put up for tender. Our tax dollars being spent, and we have no say, and nobody is able to come to bid. Where this really gets interesting is the Lacaille Group, Inc. owns quite a bit of land down at the riverfront, condominium projects, and all of a sudden we've got this thing, it's called the Peace Bridge. And I'm going to post a link. I think I've got pictures available. It's one ugly motherfucking bridge. I don't care what anybody says. We have this beautiful little stretch of river going along the city, and this big ugly monstrosity of a bridge, $25 million. That's what it was purported to cost. I have a feeling with the cost overruns that we have on everything in this city, a water treatment plant, it went like $500 million over budget, something to that effect. The number was staggering when I heard it. And city council's going, well, its costs go up in, 3 years, they went up 1,000%, something like, it's ridiculous. Anyways, the more you dig, the more information you find out there. Apparently there's a stack of it this big. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's going to be a lot of reading. So back to the Peace Bridge. It was put up. There was no bidding process. It was handed right to this contractor. And the interesting thing about the bridge is it backs right on to, ready for it? Lacaille Group Inc.'s back door, where they have this condominium project. It's right on their back doorstep. No wrongdoing here. The word I have, is that there's a lot of impropriety going on. Of course, everybody's got deniability. Rick McIver says, hey, I don't know. I was sitting on city council. I didn't know what was going on. It was, these things happen. It was our city administrators and our city manager. They don't keep us in the loop. We don't know about this stuff. The thing is there's paper trail and the internet. It brings it all together. Rick McIver, guess what? His contributors for his campaign election are all land developers. The Herald runs a poll. They run a poll saying Rick McIver is so far on the front, everybody else should quit. Well, it turns out that guess who paid for the polls that have been done? That's right, land developers. Bob Hawksworth, great. He just bowed out today. Well, geez, Bob, we're going to miss you. And now you're going to be off city council too. That's terrible. I'm wondering if you're still going to be sitting on the board for NMAX, the one that you've been trying to sell and privatize for the last 8 or 9 years. I wonder what that's worth to you. So the more you dig, the more you realize that our city hall, our politics have been compromised completely. And I don't know if it's unique to Calgary. There's so much money here. There's so much oil money. And here's the thing. And this is, I'm going on here and I've got lots of information. I'm going to be doing lots more of these things about what's going on in the city as more information is presented to me. This is how I'm going to end the egg today. Think about it. You're making an okay living, maybe 6 figures, maybe not. And all of a sudden you're presented with the opportunity to make a few $1 million. And you're being told, hey, you know what? It's all on the up and up. Lawyers have covered everything. All you have to do is just, look favorably to us. We can sort of circumvent the rules in this case, and yeah, it might get out, but guess what? It doesn't really matter because there's no wrongdoing here. We're acting well within our rights, and at the end of the day, people might be upset about it, but guess what? They can't do shit. They're not going to do shit, and you're going to have a few $1 million sitting in your bank account and maybe, some extra land to play with, and basically your retirement's set. I'm sorry. I have to say, for myself, if I was put in that position, and I talk about integrity and ethics and everything, but if I was given the opportunity to be very wealthy tomorrow, and while the lines were blurred, I'm not breaking any laws, it'd be a really tough decision. I think it would be for anybody. That's my egg for today. I got more coming, more information. We're going to break this wide open. And I'm telling you, Rick McIver, if you get elected, oh, it's going to be a rough 3 years. I wonder how much money you're going to put in your bank account. My hope is Nahad Netshi is going to be new blood. We're going to see some new people on city council and, fresh starts. And maybe we can get the corporations out of our politics and start spending money on real social programs and helping people. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.